This conference will now be recorded.
It's 5:30. Let's go ahead and start our meeting. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Beasley?
Here.
Commissioner Spillier?
Here.
Commissioner Stover?
Here.
Commissioner Chee?
Here.
And Mayor Warren.
Here. If you want to participate in the opening prayer, pledge allegiance, please stand.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We're mindful today, thanking you for the country that we live in. We're free and where the citizen can vote and participate in government. And we thank you so much for this commission. Thankful for their dedication. And I just pray that you bless them decisions they have to make. And just pray that you'd be with all of our city workers, our first responders, our management team, our city managers. Thank you for each one of them. Pray that you bless them as well. And we just ask that you guide, direct in all things. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we'd like to add under new business, city manager department, item number 6, resolution of the Board of City Commissioners of Arkansas, Kansas, declaring a class 1, stage 1 water watch pursuant to Division 2, section 62-196 and 62-206 of the Arkansas City Municipal Code.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move we approve the additions to the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any discussion on it? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the agenda.
Make the motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Recognition of visitors and staff.
I recognize and congratulate Teresa Brooks on receiving the Nancy Crane Administrative Professional of the Year Award.
Would you like to come up, Teresa? So,
So you're underneath the camera so they can see it.
yeah. So I'd like to share the news that Teresa Watts has won the Nancy Crane Administrative Assistant of the Year Award. Teresa is the Administrative Assistant in Neighborhood Services. And so they had a spring conference in Olathe this year, and she was selected as the recipient of the Nancy Crane Award. So the Nancy Crane Award is obviously named in the memory of Nancy Crane, which was a administrative assistant here at Ark City for a number of years. She was well known across the state and was a founding member of the Administrative Assistants of Kansas group and really participated in that. And because of her service to the community and her being respected in the state as an administrative assistant, they named an award after her. So it's a pretty big thing that Teresa was selected for that. Her supervisor, Mike, put in the application and nominated her for that award, and she was selected. So again, having that award come home to Ark City and being named after Nancy is really a big honor. And so we're really proud of the work that Teresa does here. And so we just wanted to share that with you guys. And there is the award that she won.
Wow.
Nice.
Sure you want to stand up?
Didn't want me in there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a great honor. I'm really proud of you.
Smiles go a long way, don't they?
That's right.
Got a sweet voice on the phone.
Yeah.
Got that from my mother?
Okay, number 3, the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. The first is approval of the July 16, 2024 regular meeting minutes as written. And then ratify Jay Warren's appointment of Eric Bird to the Community Spirit Award. That's number 2. And number 3, a resolution approving the public hearing notice publication setting public hearing for Tuesday, August the 20th, 2024 at 5:30 to consider an application to be submitted to the Kansas Department of Commerce for a small city community development block grant funds to improve Wilson Park. And then number 4 is a resolution scheduling a public hearing at 5:30 on October the 1st, 2024 in the commission chambers at City Hall to determine the structure located at 426 South Summit is unsafe and dangerous.
Quick question, why are we waiting so long
On the
on the hotel, motel? 426.
We're waiting to have a public hearing.
Yeah,
No, why are we waiting so long to set the public hearing?
There's time.
It takes 30,
Yep.
once this, we have to wait 30 days after this meeting.
Okay,
That's why we came up with that.
okay.
But
I move that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Second.
okay, any other discussion on that consent agenda? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New business number 1.
A resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to allocate transient guest tax funds to the Park City amount of $20,000 for their office remodel project. And I believe, do you want to talk about
I
that?
can bring it up and then we'll have already filled in the details.
Jill is actually not feeling well, and she thought it would be better not to come here today and put it all out to everyone in this room, so, and.
Why don't you come up to the podium?
Okay.
So kind of the background on it is, Artie approached me here a while back when Jill, they're wanting to expand the offices for Visit Arc City that reside within the chamber office. So I visited with Larry and we reviewed the charter ordinance and state statutes and our ordinances that pertain to the transient guest tax and how they're used in the city. And those funds can be used for anything that is to bring in tourism for the city. But so if office space for the Visit Arc City director would fall underneath that use of funds. And so with that, I'll let Artie talk about what they're planning on doing there. So.
Well, she has, with her body of work, she's needing more room. She's brought on a part-time person that's in the office to help her. If you guys have been into the office, you know, it's kind of crowded in there because not only does she bring a person, they set them up so that they're not splitting a computer and having to do musical chairs. So it just makes more sense to move her into a bigger office within our building because we've got expansion plans as far as Main Street, Kansas, some other things like that we're looking at. So it'll open up a smaller office that we could house a director for that in if all that goes as planned.
Let me ask a question I already know the answer to, but it's for Joe Public. We've got a local contractor going to do this work.
Yes, sir. We've got 3 bids from local contractors. I got a list from the city on contractors that are approved through the city. We have to use commercial contractors because of where we're at. That cuts the list down substantially, but we sent it out for bid. 3 of them got back. We used all the fair bid practices and voted on a local contractor. The 3 that we got back were local, by the way, too. So.
Well, that being said, I make a motion on the resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to allocate transient guest tax funds to visit Arkansas City an amount of $20,000 for their office remodel project.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any other discussion on it? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to enter into a memorandum of understanding. My own typo there. by and between the city of Arkansas City, Kansas and Kelly County, Kansas for the purpose of establishing a coordinating approach for the use of maintenance and operation of outdoor warning sirens within the jurisdiction of Arkansas City and Kelly County.
So the city of Arkansas City has been operating its own sirens along with the IXL sirens for a number of years. There was an article in the paper here a while back after one of the storms, and someone from a state agency saw that and brought it to the county's attention that the county by state statute has the legal authority to operate the sirens, not the city. So there was a desire to continue to do how we have been doing it for years, where we operate our own sirens as well as IXLs. So we've developed an MOU between the county and the city about how that works, basically saying that we'll operate the sirens, set them off, and then it also stipulates communication that happens between the city and the county and different things of that nature. So just kind of cleaning up and putting a stamp of approval on how we're already doing things. So do you have anything to add?
So Winfield, in other words, we'll do our own thing, and Winfield do their own thing. I mean, the sirens.
Yeah, we'll set off the sirens from here. But this also stipulates the communication that needs to happen between our emergency management and the county's emergency management so that we're meeting the state statutes.
Okay.
So the state's going to let us continue to do what we've been doing since they've, and that nice of them.
Well, in the county, so the county does have this statute.
I understand that.
So if something were to go wrong without this agreement,
But the county don't have sirens. It's the two cities. I mean, right?
Yeah, but the
They
emergency,
have the
But they
911.
have the emergency 911.
a state statute, they oversee that.
Make a motion, we approve a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City into a memorandum of understanding by and between the city of Arkansas City, Kansas and Cali County, Kansas for the purpose of establishing a coordinated approach for the use, maintenance and operation of outdoor warning sirens within the jurisdiction of Arkansas City and Cali County.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved second. Any other discussion on this? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3.
An ordinance granting to Evergy Kansas South Incorporated, a Kansas corporation, an electric franchise including the right to construct, operate, and maintain electrical transmission, distribution, and street lighting facilities within the corporate limits of Arkansas City, Kansas, and repealing ordinance 2019-0544-8.
So in 2019, the last franchise agreement was put in place for 5 years with Evergy. So it's due to be renewed. The city proposed renewing another 5-year franchise agreement. Evergy said, no, we want 20. We felt like that was too long of a commitment for an agreement for 20 years. So we came back with a 10-year franchise agreement, but with a 5-year reopener. So if anything changes in the 5 years, whether it be the way business is done or laws around franchise agreements or anything of that nature, we can reopen it and look at that. So what we're proposing is a 10-year term with a 5-year review period, a 6% franchise fee on the gross receipts, and of course all the other normal.
We raised it from 5 to 6, right?
And then of course all the other normal things that Evergy complies with within our right of ways and they operate there. So.
I've got a surprise question. I got to ask it today. Where are we at on those purple lights? Just because I had a guy come in, and once he said it, I got to think, you know what, I have still seen a lot of them, and I know they were supposed to be replaced or fixed. His report was that if we're still paying the same price, but we're getting, I told him I thought it had been deducted or somehow, but he says if it's still going that way and we're still getting charged full price, we're not really getting a fair deal on this.
I haven't paid attention. I haven't seen any purple lights.
I've seen some. That's the only reason. Yeah.
We can reach out to him again.
Okay.
Where's the purple lights at?
Oh,
They're very brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have trouble getting replacements for those lights. That's the problem, I think.
So, like I said, I didn't mean to surprise you on it, but
No, that's fine.
when that was brought to me today, I thought, well, it's a nice good time.
It's up near my house too.
There we go.
Okay.
That'll be on the front page of the paper tomorrow.
Okay, any other discussion on it?
I'd like to make a motion for an ordinance granting the Evergy Kansas South Incorporated Kansas Corporation an electric franchise, including the right to construct, operate, and maintain electrical transmission, distribution, and street lighting facilities within the corporate limits of City of Arkansas City, and repealing ordinance 2019-05-4489.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any other discussion on it? If not, it's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Beeson,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stover,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes, motion carries. Number 4.
A resolution authorizing the City of Arkansas City to enter into an agreement by and between the Secretary of Transportation of the Kansas Department of Transportation, KDOT, the City of Arkansas City, Kansas, the City of Winfield, and the Strotherfield Commission for the US 77 State Highway Construction Project.
So they are going to completely resurface Highway 77 between Ark City and Winfield, and they'll be doing some realignment of the road near Strotherfield. So each city in the Strotherfield each have some different responsibilities in that. Where Ark City comes in at is when they realign the road there by Strotherfield, they're going to put in a new lift station, and they're going to basically mothball the wastewater treatment plant of Strotherfield. And with that new lift station, they're going to tie into our lift station out at Patterson Park, and then the City of Ark City will start processing the wastewater from Strotherfield. So our part of the agreement, we don't have any cash outlay in any of this, but we'll have some easements and right-of-way issues, and then we'll take over maintenance of the facility once it's up and running, the wastewater treatment lift station and stuff. So Winfield they're having some work done over on their side, and where they've got some cash outlay that they're part of. And then, of course, Strotherfield will have some cash outlay and a lot bigger piece of it with the relocation of lift stations and things. But so that's what the agreement's about. Just we all have a piece of this project, and it will completely resurface 77 between Ark City and Winfield.
They've kind of straightened out that curve. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe they'll close the First Street entrance at Strotherfield and things of that nature. So
Do we have a map in-house that shows all of that in one, instead of just little snippets of it, the whole project?
yeah, I have some electronic versions of it.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when they first started that thing, Sean had a big map of it, showing that whole thing.
I move that we authorize the City of Arkansas City to enter into agreement by and between the Secretary of Transportation of Kansas Department of Transportation, KDOT, the City of Arkansas City, and the City of Winfield, Kansas, and Strotherfield Commission for the US 77 State Highway Construction Project.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Is any more discussion on it before we bring it to a vote? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item number 5 is select 3 voting delegates and 3 alternates to the 2024 League of Kansas Municipalities, LKM, annual business meeting to be held on Saturday, October 12th, 2020.
So we need some voting delegates for the annual meeting. I put on your table there, I guess I don't see where I've got it. The agenda for that meeting, or for that conference. And I believe I guess I didn't grab it. So I believe the year-end meeting is Saturday morning. Oh, excuse me, noon. The closing business meeting is at noon on Saturday. So that's where the voting delegates would need to be at.
And that's going to be Wichita?
Yes, it'll be at Century 2 Hyatt.
Give me a reason to ride my motorcycle up there.
Then along with that, we'll need to get you registered, but if you want to attend, there's the Thursday activities, the Friday activities, and a little bit of stuff on Saturday. So whatever days.
Well, I'm planning on attending, so.
And I told you I'd just be there on Thursday. It'd be the only time I could attend.
So we need a voting delegates for Saturday meeting. Okay,
I can be there Saturday.
okay, that's 2,
I can be there.
that's 3.
I'll be an alternate.
Free alternate.
So, yes, we have 3.
Charles Tweedy said he'd be an alternate.
You're the alternate. So are you gonna go then? I need to sign. I need to get with you guys to get signed up.
Yeah.
Whatever day.
It's the only thing that needs to be done is Saturday. That's the one I'll go to probably.
Well, I plan on going Thursday with Randy and but stay until Saturday.
So we've got, we'll have to make a motion. So we have Jay, Chad, and Tad as your voting delegates, and then Charles as an alternate.
Tony Tapia.
Yeah. Tony's gonna get involved.
Shanna is willing to be an alternate. I have a wedding out of town, or I mean, I wouldn't, but
I'll be there, so you can put me down as an alternate.
are you sure? Okay.
That's okay with the commission.
So you're making that motion for us then.
I mean, I guess,
Seriously?
can I?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have elected Jay, Chad, and Tad as your 3 voting delegates, and Charles, Shanna, and Randy as 3 alternates to attend the 2024 League of Kansas Municipalities annual business to be held on Saturday, October 12, 2020.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Number 6.
A resolution of the Board of the City Commissioners of Arkansas City, Kansas, declaring the Class 1, Stage 1 Water Watch pursuant of Division 2, 62-196 through 62-206 of the Kansas City Municipal.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, reason for this is our stage 1 water conservation procedure that we kick in. That's midsummer, haven't had any rain, everybody's watering, so mainly this hits on, tries to curtail all extra water as far as grass shrubs and everything. Washing down any buildings, washing vehicles. So to help us out, this kicks in actually at about, we're gonna have storages down to about 80%. We're actually been ending the day about 65% storage. So no big main break or if we experience anything like that or equipment trouble, then we can be in trouble. That's the reason for it.
But hold on now. I want to be transparent with everybody. This has also to do with the refurbishing of, or does this, I guess, would be the question, is this having to do with having to refurbish that water tower as well?
Oh, no, because the north pressure zone uses the same amount of water whether we're pumping it, whether we're furnishing it under pump pressure or if we've had the tower in service.
Okay.
The only thing that might change is that we would have a little bit more storage.
I just know how the talking goes, and so I just wanted to get out ahead of that and see if that was a problem or something we need.
We're still experiencing a few problems trying to get pressure tweaked right off the pump station, so people aren't experiencing any low water pressure in the county. And so every day we get more of a handle on that. It's two separate issues.
Okay, well, I got several calls, so I was just double
Yeah,
checking.
the point I'm making is it's not because we're short of water. We've got plenty of
Right.
water reserve. It's just we're trying to change those sand filters on the water plant, right? I mean,
No, about the only thing maybe slowing up the water plant would be, we're looking into another air compressor. Everything, all the valves and everything run off. But yeah, going down in the future, we got to keep expanding our well capacity.
well, but some of that started with the water breaks too that we had here.
Yeah, we have water rights. Rain will help that. Because part of the water rights is we can overpump the wells as long as there's a certain flow in the artery.
No, I understand that, but I'm just talking about, we had several breaks, here in this last several days that kind of put us in a little bind right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. I don't want the public to get scared that we don't have plenty of water. I mean, we do reserve,
And they're going nuts up in Wichita right now, so it's just better to get ahead of this and
Yes,
be as honest as we can with people so they know what's going on.
it's a lot better to have people try to conserve than it is to. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
With that being said, I make a motion on the resolution of the Board of the City of Commissioners of Arkansas City, Kansas, declaring a Class 1 stage water watch pursuit to Division 2, Section 62-196 through 62-206 of the Arkansas City Municipal Code.
Second.
Question, how long will this be in effect? I mean,
So it rains.
Yeah, basically it'd be into effect until we're keeping storage 80% or more.
okay, for our storage at the north end.
Correct.
Okay,
Well, storage, the one clear north by Creekstone's the one we have down. But it'd be at the Bryant Standpipe, Bryant Road and 2nd Street. So that's our main storage. Now then we have storage at the plant, clear wells.
so once we get them filled back up to capacity, then that ordinance will be,
Yes, once we're running with our storage above 80%, then I'll get with Randy to remove the
and
consequence.
we'll have to do it at one of our meetings. Is that right? Or,
I
Not sure.
don't think so. We'll read the ordinance. I don't know that we have to,
okay.
once we hit those marks, we can just take it off.
And I'm not holding you to a date at all. Do you have a guesstimate of when that would be?
About autumn 30.
Okay.
I'm not real sure, Chad, but probably as the weather starts getting
Pulling.
And if it'd be great if we'd kind of work into the wet end of August and into September.
Okay.
That always helps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. Businesses that use water, like greenhouses, are they going to be affected by this?
I don't believe so. I think just make sure whatever you water is inside your greenhouse.
It doesn't affect the business functions at this point. That's
He said washing your car and stuff, and I'm thinking car washes.
it's more of the household uses, that type of thing. I think that's state or class 1. I think class 2 or class 3 is when it starts affecting business functions. So yeah, it won't kick in and affect a business's operation at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to make the joke.
So I'll read this piece just so we're clear. So the public notification, it'll talk about outdoor watering of gardens, lawns, trees, shrubs, plants, parks, golf courses, playing fields, swimming pools, and other recreational areas. And then B is washing of motor vehicles, boats, trailers, and the exterior of any building or structure. So I don't know if that helps clarify.
But car washers can go ahead and wash the car washers, right? Yeah.
it would be a business.
Yeah.
But we would encourage people.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Need to order, don't wash one.
What about Starbucks and just put in a new lawn?
That we'll have to ask them to, back off on that. So those types of things, not saying no to all of it, but we'll need to ask them to kind of slow down on it a little bit.
New turf around their new building.
Well, I know that like in Wichita, they had orders like you water, certain days, type thing on that
Certain
type water.
Certain times too.
At this point, what this is a voluntary right now.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be, we're not going to send the water police around. We're asking, yeah. We're just asking people to voluntarily, where they can conserve water and
Don't want to use the word voluntary real heavy.
yeah. So, because at some point, if the voluntary doesn't work and we can have problems, then you have to kick in. But
We shouldn't be there because once we get those tires filled out, we should be fine again. But we do need rain.
Yes. And,
Somebody pay the teacher.
and luckily, we're not having main breaks like we did a couple summers ago. Have been around.
And basically, we're trying to protect, like our big water user like Creekstone, it uses all that water and stuff and Canpack and stuff,
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea of this
Yeah.
stage is to protect.
for their protection. Okay. I know I made the motion, but I don't know who seconded it.
I did.
Okay. Any other more discussion on it?
No.
Okay, if not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Go ahead.
Public Services Department is item number 1, a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid by Terry Berry Tractor to purchase a 2024 Blue Diamond Cold Planter skid steer attachment in the amount of $25,855.20.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, we are trying to get some equipment to do some better jobs milling our roads. This cold planer is something we did have in our arsenal at one time, but like I said, it was bought back in 1991. And the last few years, it hasn't worked at all. The parts are obsolete. So we were forced once again to lease one until we could get our jobs done that we had to do, which was milling those humps over by the middle school, over by the ACA school and some other places, but we didn't get everything done with it. So Brian and I did some searching and came up with this unit. It's a high flow unit. We're going to go with 16 inches because if we went too big, then we'd run into the situation where if we were in a tight fit, we couldn't use our machine. So it's better to double up on it and do it. This will help with the big cracks in the asphalt. We can mill those out. This will go 6 inches deep. We can mill those out 16 inches wide and put in a whole new patch, make it smooth, help take care of some of those cracks that Miss Napoleon Stanley's wife was complaining about up on her street.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those, the big hump out by the old Reedy Ford.
Yes.
She'll give you a hug if you go over and do that.
You don't want to ride the motorcycle over.
Yes.
So, we have a lot of use for this. Also, when we go to do our mill and overlay in some places, it will help us get next to the curb, the appropriate height for that. Knock that edge off and fill that in, get the height with that. So this is going to be an important piece coming up for a lot of different things. So with your permission, we would like to move forward and pick this item up.
Now, is that a budget item, Randy? I mean,
yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
When can they deliver if we approve this?
As soon as I call Brian and he calls this guy, they've got one up on the lot. So a week or two.
Tomorrow?
That would be nice. Yeah.
Well, that being,
I don't have anybody use it because we're too short over there. So, yeah.
that being said, I make a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid submitted by Berry Tractor to purchase a 2024 Blue Diamond Cold Planter skid steer attachment in the amount of $25,855.20.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. City manager updates.
Okay. So on August 2nd, Rod was on vacation, I believe, but a couple of his supervisors and myself, we met with Burns and Mac and discussed some chloride levels that were coming out of the water treatment facility, the SRF application for the emergency contaminants grant for the green sand filter, and kind of a little bit about the planning process for the next phase of the water treatment plant. So they were just kind of getting some high level direction for where we're going to head next with some of those things. On August 7th, we have the preliminary concept review of the Rexplex study. So we'll have a little more information on that, on what's going on there after that. We have a chamber coffee on August 8th, and I believe Nick Rizzio will be there and present the HEAL grant, kind of some things on that. And so that's.
Can you explain the HEAL grant? I mean, you know.
Yeah, so it's a grant for downtown buildings to help get them back in service. You have to have a business plan for them and kind of what it's going to be afterwards put in. But it's we had one building granted here, the old Dorothy Rush building. I believe they got $75,000 to do things like put a new roof on it and do some things of that nature. So
how much total is it? I mean, the amount of money that you can get at one building.
So I don't know. I think that $75,000 is kind of the number on that, but I'm not.
Okay.
Nick's a lot more versed on that, but Nick, if there's any downtown business owners that are interested, we can get with Nick and kind of walk through the process. But they have to have an architectural report and things like that to apply, and so there is some skin in the game on the building owners. But it's another way to help get downtown buildings up and going. Also, they have been offering an emergency HEAL grant too, which would help a building that's in dire, really bad shape, help get that put back into shape rather than have to tear it down. So those are competitive, and they don't. But this next grant that he's going to be talking about is just the HEAL grant. So August 12th, we have a business that's going to come here. It's called Our Canoe. They operate a canoe and kayak business up in the Hutchinson area, where they'll shuttle people out to places or pick them up with canoeing and kayaking type activities on the river. So they're interested in looking at our community as maybe a place to set up shop and have that type of thing available. So we're going to meet with them on the 12th and kind of go out with them and see what interest we can dig up there for that. August 13th, we have a Kansas Department of Labor safety visit. So about every 5 years, Department of Labor comes in and does a tour of our facilities, and they'll look for any type of safety violations that we may have and those types of things. So we'll come out of it with a report of anything that we need to address, and we'll be given some time to take.
What do you mean by facilities? What do you mean?
The shop, City Hall, they'll go to, I don't know if they'll hit every one of our facilities, but they'll go to a number of our facilities.
Oh, Tony's facilities, he'll be a star on that one.
In the past, and I've participated in these, they're normally looking for something specific when they come. So we won't really know what they're focused on until they get here. But I mean, they look for all things, but there's normally.
Is that an every year deal or?
No, about every 5 years or so they do it. So it's our turn again. So, but we'll keep you posted on how that turns out.
Go wrong. They're going to check on everybody now.
Yeah.
August 16th is the Cali Tech Building open house. It's at 3 p.m. And then back on the SRF loan application. So Nick and I met with William Carr with KDHE today and got some guidance on what we need to do to fill out that application and get that process moving. And this afternoon, I believe Nick was working with Rod on some of this information he needs to get that going. So we'll get that process going. I think we have till October 15th to get that submitted. And we'll have to get quite a bit of information that goes with that application, plus a preliminary engineering report and So they'll keep them busy for a little while pulling all that together. So, but that's moving forward now. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, anything, discussion on the commissioners, anything?
Have we sent out notifications to the business owners telling them about this HEAL grant that's going to present?
So I know Shannon's been putting some stuff on social media. I don't know that we've sent anything to any business owners on the HEAL grant.
Okay.
Know that the chamber made, you're talking about the coffee?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know the chamber made an event or they put it on their.
Right, right.
But as far as.
Okay. Since Chief's here, I just got bring out stock today about the golf carts. You know, we talked about, not the bigger ones, but the more expensive ones. We got turn signals and seat belts and all that stuff that goes 25, 30 mile an hour. We got anything further on ordinance on that, or?
Reached out to agencies in the area, all the way over to Coffeyville, Independence, Northwest, North, kind of similar size. And I found about probably about 60%, maybe 70% of the cities do have ordinances that allow golf carts, and another 30-40% do not.
Yeah.
And they all sent me copies of their ordinances if that's something that the commission would like to look at and either see about building something off their recommendation.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I know there's several people that's bought those real expensive golf carts, now that's got the seat belts, and they'll have to get permit just like the side by sides and all that stuff. But,
Chief, I reached out, Valley Center is going through this process right now, and I've got a working draft copy of what they're working on. So I just got it here a few minutes ago, so I'll share it with you.
I asked what kind of complaints or concerns they had if they had an ordinance, and the ones that did, they said the only problems they had was that underage drivers or people without license were continuing to operate them.
that's when you need, that's when you're going to have to,
Really crack down.
crack down on it. So.
Let's get a few fines.
Is there anything else by the commission?
How's the sign ordinance coming?
Again, that's one where Josh is taking that with another piece. And when he's finished with that, he's going to take that piece to the planning commission. And then when he has those pieces back,
okay,
bring them before the commission. We have a draft of what he and I have worked on.
Okay.
But he wants to bring it all together.
Timeline?
I don't. I really don't. So I'm not in on the part that he's working on with the planning commission.
I'll get with Josh and see if he can provide a.
Well, it needs to go through the planning commission.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have had several citizens contact me about the truck stop out there, about the big holes and nothing around them to protect people from kids going and walking into them, getting hurt or something. I was wondering, do they need to be putting up a construction fence or something like that?
That'd be a code enforcement question.
During construction, those are the detention ponds that they're talking about. And
I assume they said big holes out there.
Well, that one is also a detention pond.
Detention ponds for the water runoff to go into the holy water, so we don't have overburden the ditches and everything else. Once the job is done, they're going to be there anyway with no fence, right? It's kind of like the Dollar General store that we did. So there's a detention pond there, and there's no barrier around it or anything too. I mean, I could ask them to seal it off, but kind of hard to do. Part of construction.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you guys are working there, 24 hours a day? I mean, every time I go by, somebody's running one.
Yeah, usually they're there from sun up to sundown. Pretty busy.
I'm sure there's OSHA people come down every so often and they would say something about the safety of the site, wouldn't they?
Okay. I don't even know if they've been in town. I haven't seen OSHA in town for 3 years.
Okay.
They got a lot of jobs up in Wichita, Kansas City area.
Yeah.
They take care of it.
There's no money in little towns.
That's right.
Unless they get a violation report. That's what.
Yeah.
We can't pay it anyway, so.
Okay, anything else? If not, is any comments from the audience? What's the, it's not on the agenda?
Yes, Bob Matthews would like to speak.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Council, everybody that's sitting in the audience. I really hated to come again tonight. One of the things I will apologize for, if it's gonna, I'll ask permission now if I can approach the bench.
Sure.
Twice, once to give out these and once to give out some pictures in a minute. I will apologize, my printer ran out of ink, so you're gonna get a multicolored piece of paper, okay?
Looks like my printing.
Well, if we had the money and could buy a new cartridge, you know,
It didn't do any good on mine.
enough. Some of you are gonna get half black, half red, half something on there. If you look, I did take the privilege of marking on the north side so you know which side is north and which side is east, which side is west and so forth, south. I live at 900 North D Street. That's at the corner of Pine and D Street. Look at the map, you can see where I have written Pine Street on Pine. I have, starting at the alley, which you can see where the alley is, all the way to the railroad track is not paved. It is not a street, it's a drainage ditch. If you look to the north, you'll see where I'm trying to mark a red line. That is a brick drainage ditch. If the commission is familiar with Ark City, we're built on a hill. Everything flows either back to the east, flows to the west, or it goes this way. From A Street to D Street is approximately 20 feet from A to D that the water flows down. Now I'd like to pass out something else to you. The first picture you'll see is, I'll let you get them. There's two pictures, one. Okay. One for the alley and one for the top part.
I know exactly where this is.
I don't pass out all the pictures, so I don't guess I have one for the city manager. Did you have enough, an extra?
Yeah, here, you can have it. I know exactly where you're at. I think I know where you're going with this.
Raise hell.
Yeah, not too much.
I apologize. I thought there were 6 sets, so all the commissioners and the city manager could have one.
Sit there.
How many of the commissioners have driven Ark City to see how the water flows in Ark City when it rains? Many of you?
I personally have been on the street department. I know pretty much if you got a drain, I know where your problem, I know what your problem is.
Driven down on South 5th Street and 1400 block and looked at that with the water over in Sleeth Edition and places. Like I said, I really hate to be here tonight because sometimes I lose my temper and I don't want to lose my temper. But this is the third year in a row that I have taken the same picture, came to the same city commission and complained about it.
Not the same city commission.
Same.
Notice the tall grass. When we got 4 inches of rain the other day, gentlemen and ladies, I had 2 inches of water in both of my garages. In 98, I had over 3 feet of water in my house. I began to get a little concerned when I start getting 2 inches of water in my garages. Luckily, there was nothing on the floors that got damaged that happened to. The reason it happened is because of the tall Johnson grass and the drainage ditch by the Santa Fe. If you'll notice on that one picture, you'll see a little circle. That's the, come on.
It goes right underneath the tracks.
Goes underneath the,
Out to F Street.
gone over to F Street and over to that area. And today I drove F Street. That area hadn't been mowed either. There was no way that 4 inches of water could get down that drainage area, get under the railroad track and get going. And like I say, this is the third year I have taken the same picture, came back to the same city commission and complained about it. And I asked my neighbor, if he had talked to anybody, and he said he had called the city and complained, and we didn't get any luck. Now, either department heads or city managers not doing their job by keeping up with the drainage and the problems that the water flow is going to have when we have a big rain.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, Bob, that is not true.
No.
I understand that you got the problem, that stuff grows.
If it's not true, why do I get the water?
If you'll give me a minute, I'll give you an explanation. One, it's a personnel issue. If you don't have enough people to go out there and do all the mowing, it's not going to get done. I know when I was working there 2-3 years ago, we did that twice a year, and we also mowed back behind there. Problem with back behind there is that it holds so much water that it gets muddy and it's hard to clear it out.
True. If you try to mow it when it's wet and raining, it does.
Try to mow it anytime and it's gonna be muddy.
I would disagree there as many times as I've been to that ditch.
As many times I've mowed that ditch, I can guarantee it. So I'm not saying that anybody's not doing their job, but it is a personnel issue, and I do know that they have that on the list, and I know they at least go through there and scrape that with a Bob's skid steer twice a year to try to keep that cleared out because it does sit up there. So I know they're doing what they need to do. What actually needs to be done is I would say from where you're saying that brick road, actually north of there, right where that park is, where that park comes back in and where it actually starts, that needs to be probably put down in concrete or some kind of brick.
Well, you've got Linden Street on North D Street. Linden is a big wide street right there where the railroad had their section crew house. That comes in, turns and comes over, tries to go under the railroad track.
Right. So it's a lot bigger issue than just going and mowing it or trying to keep it clean. It probably needs to be it's going to cost some serious money to get in there and do what needs to be done.
Well,
best they can do is continue
to protect your citizens, or are you going to protect the money?
Well, I can't protect the money because it's not there.
Okay.
And I know that, and I'm going to protect the city crews that are sitting there doing their job. They are trying to get it done. It's just a manpower issue. And I'm not saying that's a good excuse, but that's the reasoning behind it right now.
Well, I don't think, and I get personal because that's where I live.
Sure, absolutely.
I get personal when I get 2 inches of water in my garage.
I don't blame you a bit.
And if I'd had stuff in there that got damaged, who would pay for it, me or the city? The city for not keeping that mowed? My attorney said the city would be liable for it, for not keeping the drainage open. I don't know. That would be something the court system would have to settle out.
I see Randy's writing some notes down. I'm sure he's going to get with Tony and Brian.
So Bob, right now,
I have talked to the city manager twice. The last 2 years, pointed that out when I brought pictures.
You can point it out all you want, but if there's not the manpower to do it, they're going to do the best they can. And that's all they can do.
Well,
I don't know what else you want us to say. I'm giving you the God's honest truth. And if it's not good enough, I'm sorry.
Well, this is August the 5th.
Yes, sir.
There's been nobody out there May, June, July, and August, 4 months. So somebody's not doing their job of mowing it.
I think Randy will probably check into that.
Well, Randy should have checked into it 3 months ago.
When did you bring this to our attention?
I personally called and left word here. My neighbor.
What day was that?
He called.
What month was that?
I don't know who my neighbor called, but he said he's reported it twice. Howard Meadow, who lives just across Pine Street from me.
Tell you what, we'll look in, we'll see when those calls were made, and we'll see if it was recently or if it was past time and they actually went through and did something during that time, or if they just ignored you. And if it's the latter, then you have a good concern.
What the commissioners might do, when I was on the commission, I had 4 sections of town. I drove at least once a month looking at those sections to see if there was anything that might need to be done. Of course, that's been 25 years ago, so it's a different philosophy, a different lifestyle now. But it has been reported.
Okay. I can guarantee we'll look into it, and I will get back with you personally.
Well, if you just come in and mow it once and next year I have the same thing, there's got to be something. The way the water flows down, and that's a drainage, then the city ought to be concerned about it not draining.
What about,
And excuse me, Mayor, I'll back up and say one more thing. The 4 inches of rain was over the curbs, up in the yards, and people was not driving down D Street because where that brick thing is, there's a dip. You put a little car through that dip and it would flood into the car. People were turning around, not coming through that dip.
Rec Center is the exact same way. It goes up to the curb, over the curb, onto the sidewalk. It's not and there's no Johnson grass there.
You can imagine how deep the water was when it was 2 inches in my yard and 2 inches in my garages.
I'll say we had a lot of rain.
question, what about taking a Roundup and just spraying it and killing everything right there? Just where it's
It goes into a waterway. You can't do that.
Oh, is that right?
Yep. You can't put it.
Well,
It goes into the river.
you say that, but they sell grass and weed killer out at Ace Hardware all the time. So can you not put that on it and kill the weeds in the grass?
I don't know. It gave me cancer, so I wouldn't do it.
Well, I don't know.
But if you want to get cancer, we could do that.
I don't care what you do to it. I just don't.
I tell you, I've said I'll take care of it. We'll get it looked into and I will get back with you personally. Thank you.
Come to the city every year to complain about the same thing every year.
But working for the city, we did it twice a year. I know we did it twice a year for 5 years in a row. So I have a hard time believing that they have not done that.
You can drive out tomorrow and look at it.
It doesn't mean they didn't do it earlier. It grows, grass grows.
It hasn't been cut this year. It wasn't cut last year until I came to the commission with, I could have probably pulled the pictures out from last year. And
I remember last year they went and went down there and.
after I came to the commission, they came in and mowed it. Because they were told to, I'm sure.
Well, probably what needs to be done is this needs to be put on a yearly agenda, where they, on it, where it needs to be mowed or.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, you know how fast Johnson grass grows. So I would say mow at least 3 times a year, keep the Johnson grass down out of it.
Okay.
And in the brick portion of it, they could come in there with a blade as long as they didn't tear the brick out of it and scrape that side.
That's what they do.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, Johnson grass is a noxious weed. We have a program in Cali County that we can get that from, right? Is that still not usable in waterways?
Well, I don't know off the top of my head on that. We'll have to check into it and see what
Because the county buys a whole bunch of it every year.
which they're going to be doing in ditches and things like that. So
Sometimes doesn't get down to the people that really, really need it, you know.
Yeah, it's open to people who have Johnson grass and any type of noxious weed to purchase at a discount.
Well, it's 25% off is what it is, because I just got some last year. Got the guy, the noxious weed guy for the county come out, took some stuff out for him, so. Anything else on the agenda? I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.